Hi, I'm Sarah Jurdy. I'm the managing editor at Digiday. We're here at our Digiday video studio in partnership with Blackboard. I am so pleased to be joined by Michael Lacroazza, who's the CMO of US Bank. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So this is day 3 of Cannes Lions, day 2, technically?
Day 2 for
you?
me.
How's it going so far?
So far, so good.
What are the topics that are really on your mind as you enter the festival this year?
Of course, AI and how you use AI and what it means. All the ramifications, that's a huge topic for anybody in our space. And of course, and then I'd say number 2 is just seeing some of the world's best creativity in action, and walking through the palais and assessing the work, having a point of view. It's a source of inspiration too.
I feel like last year here at Cannes Lions, we were really talking about the theoretical uses of AI, and it feels like we're able to embrace it and more in the tangible this year. How have you experimented with AI? How are you thinking about it at US Bank?
Yeah, well, most recently we launched a new brand campaign about a month ago, and AI was an integral part of what enabled us to go faster in the development of the work. And the way that we utilized it was not to have the AI large language models create the work. We used it as an accelerator in the strategic process. So essentially what we did was we created avatars for our customer profile, our target profiles that we were going after, and then trained the models with data that represented their points of view, their experiences, their media consumption patterns, and so forth. And then we were able to accelerate how we created the messaging strategy, campaign strategy, which made the brief go faster. And then we took early versions of the different ideas, the rough ideas created by humans, not by machines, to get a reaction to it. And so it was kind of like having real-time focus groups that you could just turn on and go through the AI language model, instead of having to do traditional online recruiting or kind of laboratory environment exposure to work. And so we saved months, probably 2.5, 3 months off of our process.
Wow. How did AI in that sense then play in conjunction with the creativity of the team?
Well, I think for the creative team, it gave them more visceral, immediate reaction to the work, and that created insights for how they could take it to the next space.
Is this something that you'll deploy in the next campaign?
Absolutely.
When you're here walking along the Croisette and here at the festival, how are you thinking about creativity?
Wow, that's a great question. Being surrounded by so much creativity, right? Well, the way I think about it is part of the huge draw and why people descend on this lovely Côte d'Azur is because you have some of the world's most prolific creators of our craft, and in an environment where they can showcase the work through the awards, through peer-to-peer conversations. And so I will always walk away with some sort of inspiration from the work that sparks maybe a new idea later down the line, but it's a celebration.
We've reported a lot on retail media networks, and now there are more financial services getting into the space. How are you thinking at US Bank about data and making sure that that is available to your team?
Right, so it's a space that we're following. We're interested to see where it goes. I'm not sure that yet it's the right thing for us to do as a next kind of priority. But it is. We've been following what's been happening with Target and Kroger and some of the retailers, and now we have J.P. Morgan Chase obviously is entering into some version of that space. We think it's really interesting. Part of what gives me a little bit of pause about it is the sanctity of our client data and how that will be used, and making sure that we care for adding value in a way that it's permissive to that for them. Like they have to want to agree to utilize their data in that way. And then if we did do something like that, we would need to be providing value back to the clients in a substantial way.
How are you thinking about data privacy when you innovate and among your marketing channels too throughout the year?
Well, being a regulated financial services company, we're probably among the most restricted in terms of how the use cases that we can deploy and how we have to care for that. So I think the first thing what we think about is what's right for the client at the end of the day. Are we doing it in service of them? 2, are we relentlessly protecting the veracity of that through all the various systems that we have. As you can imagine, if for any bank, for any financial institution, you're constantly being attacked by outside actors trying to get access to your client data, trying to extract financial value illegally. So it's a pretty big effort, I think, for any company like ours to protect our client data.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we're here at the festival. We have the platforms along the beach, everyone pitching all of their different services. What are the channels that are of most interest to you as we move forward this year? Also, given that we have a divisive election year in the US, at least.
Right. Yeah, no, I think for advertisers going into the fall, you have to be mindful of where you show up and can you actually break through when there's so much money going to be flowing into political campaigns. For all of our media decisions and approaches, we lead it with an audience first, perspective, which is for the folks that we want to connect with. Where are they? Where can we be most contextually relevant in the moment where they're making decisions for whatever aspect of the relationship that we want to focus on? And I'd say that some of the higher growth areas are where you can essentially buy video almost like digital, right? Mm-hmm. So like connected TV and those kinds of channels where you're using client data smartly, rightfully, as well as insights and so forth, that you can get back the signals in a way that resembles more like a digital approach.
Mm-hmm. Last question for you here. This is it's a celebration here in Cannes Lions. What conversations have you had that are really making you energized for the rest of the year?
So I was at an event where there were a couple of speakers that were focused on mindfulness. So I know that sounds a little off base, but
it's a good place to do
it just makes you think about the world in a different way, and how you just need to be present in every moment of what you're doing in your life, whether it's work or your home life, and you don't often expect to engage in those kinds of topics in a space like this. So it just gave me a little bit of pause for the day, and a little bit more maybe kind of inspiration. Yeah,
it's great to take that time too when you're running between meetings to take pause and be more mindful and present.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much. That is day 3 here at Cannes Lions with Digiday Video Studio and Blackboard.